Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Biocatalyst 2021. In the previous video, we studied on general characteristics of kingdom Protista. In this video, we will start with phylum Chrysophyta, which is the first phylum that we will start with. And in this, we will also study the diatom structure in detail. So let us first start with the general characteristics of phylum Chrysophyta. All these organisms are microscopic in nature. So we can say rather all protists are microscopic because all the protists are actually unicellular organisms. They are all unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Then they all are aquatic in nature, that is they are found in water. It could be fresh water or it could be even marine. Then these chrysophytes are photosynthetic in nature. We had already studied in the previous video that there are three types of photosynthetic protists: chrysophytes, then the dinoflagellates and euglenophytes. So dinoflagellates, we also call them pyrophytes. So all these three are photosynthetic in nature, and chrysophytes, they are one of the chief producers of oceans. So chrysophytes, dinoflagellates and euglenophytes, all the three together actually form 80% of photosynthesis in oceans. So these are very important producers of oceans. We include diatoms and desmids in chrysophytes. Diatom structure we will study in detail later. And what are desmids? These are the golden algae that contain cellulose and pectin. Chrysophytes float passively in water currents. So because they usually either they have one flagella or they are non-flagellated or they may be just amoeboid, they all float passively because of the water currents and they form the major phytoplanktons of the oceans. Some chrysophytes may be just amoeboid in nature because they do not have cell wall, and because they do not have cell wall, they do not have a definite shape then, and then they are amoeboid in nature. Let us study the structure of diatoms in detail. According to the structure, diatoms are of two types. They can be pinnate or centric. Pinnate diatoms are those which are rectangular in shape like a soap box, and centric are those which are circular like a petri dish. These pinnate are bilaterally symmetrical, whereas the centric diatoms are radially symmetrical. If we consider especially the pinnate kind of diatoms, then the cell wall have two thin overlapping shells which fit together as in a soap box. So if we imagine a soap box, we know that the lid of the soap box is larger than the case. So that is how the cell wall is. That is, the lower cell wall is smaller, whereas the upper one is larger. Then these walls, whether it is the upper cell wall or the lower cell wall, they are embedded with silica deposits in it. And that silica is amorphous silica which is present in these cell walls. And because silica is indestructible, it cannot be decomposed, that is why when diatoms die, then the soft part, that is all the cytoplasmic part, or we can say the whatever nuclei or whatever is present in them, they all decompose, but silica remains, and that is why diatoms are indestructible. That is, their fossil remains. So because their fossil deposit remains, layer after layer, they form diatomaceous earth. It is called diatomaceous earth because it is an accumulation of all these fossils of diatoms over billions of years. And even now, till today also, they are continuously, naturally, they are producing, and then they are dying. That is why they are getting accumulated day by day. Then let us look at the structure of these diatoms. I had already told that there is an upper cell wall which is a larger one, which is called actually epitheca, and the lower cell wall is smaller in size and it is called hypotheca. And how these cell walls, they fit together, how a soap box, they have two ends where they are attached to, they are the valves. So it is an epivalve and hypovalve by which these epitheca and hypotheca, they are attached to each other. When we look at the epitheca, that is the upper surface, it doesn't look smooth because it has silica deposits. So it is highly ridged, it is not smooth, and it has ridges, it has kind of elevations on it, and it shines, and due to which these diatoms are called jewels of oceans, because they are ornamental, they have an ornamental appearance. So that is why they are called jewels of the oceans. So here we can see a magnified view of these diatom fossils, and they look beautiful actually. Then let us look at the locomotion. The locomotion is usually the diatoms, they do not have any flagella, so they float passively, and because they have oil droplets present in them, so they are very light, and that is why they float. Along with all oil droplets, they also have volutin granules and polysaccharides. Then these organisms are diploid, that is 2N, and they have two types of reproduction, vegetative and sexual reproduction. In the next video, we will study on reproduction in detail, that how do they reproduce both ways, vegetative and sexual. And then there are various uses of this diatomaceous earth, that is because they have gritty in nature, they can be used as abrasive for polishing surfaces, and they can be used for filtration of oils and syrups and other different kind of liquids, and they can also be used as insulating bricks. I hope you have understood what are the general characteristics of phylum Chrysophyta, and what is the basic structure of diatoms and uses of diatomaceous earth. If you have understood and if you like my video, then do subscribe to my channel, share my videos, and do not forget to comment. Thank you.